Hi Grace, welcome back to our last session. We are going to continue doing our time management sessions. Before we get started, I just want to go over a few of our confidentiality rules. Confidentiality is when whatever is said is just between you and I. The only way I can break confidentiality is if you're hurting yourself, if someone is hurting you, or if someone else is being hurt. Okay. So that is just something that I wanted to make sure I threw out there. Just a little reminder. So are you almost ending your school year?
Yeah, I have 3 more days left.
Wow, 3 more days left?
Yeah.
Oh. So have you been, how do you feel you've been doing on your finals?
I think I've been doing good. I've been less procrastinating, and I've been focusing more on studying for my finals.
Mm-hmm. So you've been studying a lot more for your finals?
Yeah.
That's good. Do you feel ready, to go to high school?
Yeah, for high school, with these lessons, it's made me want to get myself more together for school.
Mm-hmm. That's good. Do you feel like any of this stuff has been helping you in any way?
Yeah, it's been helping me, getting, getting stuff done more, and studying more, and having more me time.
Oh, that's good. Because it's always important to make sure that you have self-care in between all of the busy time that you have. Okay, so today I just want to go over a little bit how, time management, how it's going to be like for more when you're in high school. When you first start, obviously, there's a lot of pressure in the fact that your classes you have to pass your classes if you're trying to get to your post-secondary education. You need to take your A3G classes, so it's just so much more stuff that you have to do. Making sure you study harder to make sure you have, if you really want to get to a good college, you want to have A's and B's, or you might just want to have A's. You might be taking AP classes, you might be taking honors classes. So these are all the stuff that, sometimes tend to give more peer pressure. So I want to just go over a little bit. Our goal today is for you to be able to have a little more control of what your time is. So some high school students are some of the busiest people in the world. To get the most from all you do, you must be in control of your time. So since being in high school, it's very time consuming. You're going every day. You gotta make sure your classes are you're taking the right classes, that you're passing them, because if you don't pass, then you don't want the colleges to say, oh, I failed algebra 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
Right? So has anyone talked to you about this stuff?
You've told me that I need to put more focus into school because colleges look through your high school grades, and to get into a good college, like you say, you have to have good grades.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a college in mind that you want to go to?
UC Irvine or UCR.
Yeah, those are some really good schools. And what do you want to study?
I'm not sure, but I know I want to be something in the medical field.
And what is your one choice and your second choice?
My first choice is a pediatric surgeon, and my second's a nurse.
So what was your first one again?
Pediatric surgeon.
And the second?
Nurse.
Oh, those are some really good choices. So going over what we're gonna go over today, this will probably most likely be very helpful and useful for you in the long run, which I hope it will help you prepare. It says here, Your success in high school depends on your use of time. While you probably have not control over when your classes are scheduled, you do have control of the rest of your time. Here are some important things to remember. So the first one is you begin each of the semesters that you start. You can start by making a master schedule where you can have your organized time. You can put down all your classes, classes you're going to take, and you can space out the time. First, fill in things you must do, such as your classes, your work, your practice, things that you cannot change, and then you analyze what's left in the blank spots, and you try to make that time that is blank on your schedule to be the most effective. The second one, establish a regular time and a place to study, and this will save you time in the long run because you're going to be programming. You're going to already know where you go and study. So find a quiet place where you feel comfortable, where you're not being distracted, where you don't feel that you're not getting your stuff done. Use daylight hours to study whenever possible. For most people, for every hour of study done in the daylight time, it's going to take 1.5 hours to do the same task at night. So if during the daylight, it takes you 1 hour to study for your math test, at nighttime, it will take you 1.5 hours. That's really interesting, right?
Yeah. I wonder why.
Well, I want to say that your brain is not, you're tired. You've probably been awake for like at least 10, 12 hours, or no, maybe less. But unless you wake up, let's say, what time do you wake up? 6. You're not asleep by 6 o'clock, right?
No.
That's already 12 hours. What about, like, what time do you go to bed?
10, 11.
10 or 11. So that is what? Almost 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, almost 18 hours that you're awake. So if you're trying to do your homework at 9 o'clock at night, but you've been awake since 6 in the morning, you're tired, you're drained, your brain's not functioning the way it does when you're awake, when you freshly wake up, right?
Yeah.
So most likely that's why it takes a lot longer. You take breaks. Don't schedule marathon study sessions. Several short 50-minute sessions are better than one long session. Buy flashcards or summary sheets that you can use odd times to study while you're waiting for class to start or for a friend to pick you up, or even maybe throughout your passing periods. Flashcards. If you have flashcards, okay, I'm going to my next class. What can I do in order for myself to be able to be productive and at least, keep your brain going and functioning. If possible, you schedule study time with a partner. Choose your partner wisely because you don't want to have a study time that just becomes a
talkative time
and socializing. If you schedule this just like you would soccer practice or music lesson, it can become a routine. Schedule the most difficult tasks for times when you are alert, especially such as algebra, which might be hard, or geometry or stats or any math class that you're taking. Make a daily checklist where you set your priorities and do the most important tasks first.
That's smart. So you can so your brain can focus on some, not focus more, but focus on something you struggle with, so you'll be more active.
Yeah, so this is something that will definitely really help out in the long run. I have this for you, which is a master weekly schedule that it looks like this. So on the first, it says it has the time 6:30, which is from 6:30 that you say you wake up around 6, right?
Yeah.
And then from 7 to 12, and then all the way down to 12 in the morning. And then it has Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And you put down, okay, from 6:30 to 7, I wake up. Oh, no, you're already in school, huh? 6:30 to 7,
yeah,
already in school. 7:30 to 8, English class, yada, yada, yada. Maybe from, after school, you can put down, your schedules for what you have, your, algebra, science, math, history, Spanish, your art, drama, whatever it is. And then when you're out of school, maybe you can take a break. You get out of school 1:40, You can take a break between 2 to 3, so you can get some rest, take a little nap maybe. And then from 3:30 to 4:30, maybe study for math or do math homework. And this will really help you be more organized. In the long run, it will definitely help you.
Thank you.
So we also have this little checklist that talks about a dozen ways to study smarter in less time. It says, understand that each teacher's grading system, what counts. So by understanding, this is like ways to help you study smarter in less time. So it says, how to understand each teacher's grading system. So that's something that is good for you to know, such as what counts, how much does my homework count? For example, is my homework count 60% of my grade? Is it 30%, 50%, etc.? How much does homework count? How much daily quizzes are there? Is there any projects? 6 weeks test. It's hard to play the game unless you know how to keep score. Right, this is kind of relating it to a game. Like if you're in a sport and you're not practicing, then how are you gonna do good? Or also it says, well, how do you play the game if you're not keeping score? So if you're not keeping score of what your outcome is gonna be, then what are you doing, right? You keep all assignments and handouts and tests that are given back. So you keep a list of your grades you made from each class. So this is really, really good. So you, instead of having to ask your teacher, hey teacher, so-and-so, what is my grade for math? What is my grade for science? You have all your grades and you actually have the score of your let's say your quiz, your homework, and then that's something that you have instead of having to ask, so you know what your grade is. So always record assignments as soon as you're given. Don't trust your memory. Always use study time. If the teacher is giving you time to study in class, you take advantage of it. Don't just socialize or say, oh, it's free time, or it's time to play, like, I don't want to do this, or whatever, I'll just do it at home, and, but in reality, you need to get it done, because this might be some extra free time that you have for yourself at home, right? If at all possible, you study at the same time and same place daily. So do you have a place where you study?
My room, or in the living room upstairs. Also the kitchen, because there's a lot of lighting.
Yeah, that's good. Ask for help as soon as you realize that you don't understand. Especially in math. Because math is a very, very important thing that you can have. Right?
Yeah.
So process information each day. Don't wait until right before a test. Winners don't wait until game day or the day before to practice. It's done daily. Right?
Yeah. They practice once a week or twice.
Make flashcards of things you think of things you think will be on tests as you come to them in class or homework, such as definitions, terms, vocabulary, words, formulas, important dates, and you have to keep these handy. Recite the answers out loud often in order for your brain to memorize. Another thing that you could do is you will start realizing more and more what good study habits are for you. Right? Yeah. So once you have your own study habits, it's just easier for you to, what works for you. For example, me, when I was in college, it was really hard for me to be able to understand things and memorize. So I would rewrite stuff down. I would rewrite my notes and rewrite highlight keywords on my notes, or even like color code my notes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You form a study group for major tests. So maybe you have 2 or 3 friends that you're really close to, have same classes, get together, study with them in the library, maybe during lunch or after school, invite them over, go to their house if that's possible. Take notes, like we said, keep them organized and labeled, and do your best on every assignment in order for you to be successful in all of your classes. So that's also really, really interesting. So we have here, In order to take good notes, you must be a good listener. So what do you think that means?
Pay attention to what the teacher's saying and focus instead of getting distracted and talking to your neighbor or person in front of you.
That's fair enough. We're all guilty of bad listening habits of some sort. From the list below, choose 5 obstacles that most often get in your way of your listening in class. So, number 1, it says talking instead of listening. Are you guilty of this?
Yeah.
Thinking of what you're going to say instead of listening.
Yeah.
Yeah? Do you have an example?
Like if they're saying something to me, like the first sentence, like I'll process it and then I'll only have the answer to that one, but not the rest of the question.
Okay. Number 3, mentally arguing with a speaker.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, number 4, thinking about something else while the speaker is talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I would say that's a huge one. Getting impatient with the speaker.
Yeah, because sometimes they speak very slow.
Yeah, that too. Giving in to a poor environment, too noisy, too hot, or too hungry.
Not really.
No. Number 7, dividing your attention, getting homework, writing a letter, staring at someone cute.
No.
Never had that issue? Nah, I think you have. Your silence says it. Number 8, not listening actively, taking notes, and asking questions.
Not listening. Wait.
Not listening actively, taking notes, or asking questions.
Yeah, because one time in my 6th period, I was too lazy to write down the notes. But I wrote them down.
Yeah, it happens. Not being motivated to listen. The subject is boring.
History. Well, not history, but just like, the way my teacher, like, teaches it.
It's not very interesting.
Yeah, like, he just puts the notes and we have to copy it.
So that makes sense. Number 10, being distracted by the speaker's mannerisms, voice, or appearance.
No, I don't know. Depends.
It could be. I know for me as an undergrad, it was kind of hard because sometimes you would have like those teachers that speak a different language and it's hard for them to understand. Like Asian people. I remember I had an Asian teacher and I told her like she had her accent and then she would talk so fast. So then that's distracted because you're trying to understand what she's saying. And it was a math class too. But then you're also trying to understand the subject.
That's
so
funny.
I'm guilty of that too.
Because my math teacher, he's European.
Yeah, and he's hard to understand.
He has a really thick accent. I'm not sure what language they speak.
But it's pretty hard. Okay. Well, I really hope that this really helps you, Grace. In the long run, I hope that, even like doing that little schedule, that might be something that could help you out in the long run. So do you feel like this was useful, or like you'll be able to use?
It's going to help me out starting off high school.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Well, I say good luck to you, and hopefully everything turns out great. Make sure you stay focused and try to keep that. I think that schedule will, if you're doing your master scheduling, it's really going to help you.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions or anything you want to?
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.